This is the Washington Times front page for Thursday, June 11th, 2026. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. President Trump says Iran will pay the price for slow-rolling peace negotiations with the U.S. as American forces in the Middle East launched a new round of airstrikes. Vaughn Cockane and Tom Howell report Trump said he would hit Iran for being too slow during peace talks. Still, Trump said the bombing was mostly in reaction to the downing of a U.S. Army helicopter on Monday. The Pentagon launched strikes against targets in southern Iran Tuesday in retaliation for the downing of that helicopter, which the U.S. said was shot down by an Iranian drone. Those strikes, which U.S. Central Command dubbed self-defense strikes, reportedly targeted Iranian air defenses and radar stations. Iran retaliated by targeting U.S. military installations in Jordan, Kuwait, and Bahrain. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates told a House committee that late financier Jeffrey Epstein used his marital infidelities to pressure me to re-engage with him. Susan Ferricchio reports House Oversight and Government Reform Committee members questioned Gates in a closed-door deposition about the claim and told reporters afterward the allegation lined up with what they'd learned about Epstein's behavior with others. Gates was the 15th person to testify to the panel to discuss Epstein and isn't accused of any wrongdoing. Authorities say Epstein committed suicide in his prison cell in 2019 after he was arrested on federal charges of sex trafficking. The World Cup kicks off today, and host cities across North America have shelled out hundreds of millions of dollars for the event, but experts say they're unlikely to recoup those investments. Normally, economists have to wait until after an event to begin their autopsy, but Liam Griffin reports the warning signs for the World Cup appeared early. Hotel bookings have fallen short of expectations, and thousands of tickets remain available, with several U.S. sites now hosting giveaways to fill seats. The outcome hasn't shocked sports economists. They've long warned that mega events such as the World Cup and Olympics often fall short of economic projections. The tepid response is further complicated by the war in Iran and the controversy surrounding the Trump administration's approach to international visitors. What would the United States face in a military operation against Cuba? Ben Wolfgang reports it could be simpler and more straightforward, considering Cuba's armed forces are badly outmatched and reliant on outdated defense equipment. Yet success isn't guaranteed. Also, U.S. action could spark unintended geopolitical consequences, leading to a major humanitarian emergency and migration crisis in America's backyard, while fueling anti-U.S. sentiment across the hemisphere. Military analysts and Pentagon insiders say if the Trump administration's intense economic pressure campaign on Cuba ultimately leads to military intervention, decision makers must not assume the mission will play out as quickly and as smoothly as its raid on Venezuela. And finally, higher education insiders say undergraduate enrollment likely peaked this spring as colleges prepare for a long-term slide in applications driven by declining birth rates. Sean Salai reports the National Student Clearinghouse Research Center counted 15.5 million undergraduate students during the spring semester, up 1.3% from a year earlier. The group noted programs tied to strong markets for healthcare and engineering jobs led undergraduate enrollment growth. But higher education leaders are bracing for a demographic cliff this spring, as years of decline in U.S. births since 2008 could drive a 15% drop in potential college applicants. Additionally, the nonprofit Western Interstate Commission for Higher Education projects high school graduation numbers will fall steadily from a record 3.9 million students in 2025 to fewer than 3.4 million by 2041. Find all today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and find us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on social media at Wash Times for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. The Washington Times. I'm George